Not all businesses were created equal. So when you start a company, are you starting it as a startup or as a small business? Which one of the two is it? Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Zeischer, and this is the 39th in a series of short videos designed for owners, startup entrepreneurs, and regular executives succeed with their businesses. And with that, let us look at the first slide. This video is entitled, Are you a startup or a small business? What is the difference and what are the advantages and disadvantages in the new definitions? I am going to be using my own book called The Guide to Entrepreneurship. And this is going to be from chapter 5, which is entitled New Venture Creation. So let's take a look at let's come up with a definition of a startup versus a small business. There was a time actually for many years that both a startup and a small business was actually used interchangeably by many people in the business community. However, since the advent of Silicon Valley and medtech and biotech companies, the definition has become far more restrictive. So according to the Silicon Valley definition of a startup, this is a company that is expecting to have exponential growth. That is absolutely key. The second one is that it is knowledge intensive. Usually these are the type of knowledge and information that you gain only by going to colleges and universities, and especially graduate programs. A startup is a company that the technology is either going to be disruptive and it's also going to be highly inventive. And the fourth major difference between a startup and a small business is that a startup is going to be capital intensive. You're going to require a lot of capital in order to be able to have a product that you can actually put on the market. So let's make a real side-by-side comparison between the Silicon Valley definition of a small business, which is going to be shown on the left, and a startup that is going to be shown on the right. So a small business usually is something that is going to take care of the local business, of the local environment. So your products are going to remain primarily local. Whereas a startup, for the most part, is either going to be national or better yet, worldwide. A small business could be a lifestyle business. That is to say that the owner, the fellow who started up the company, wants to make enough money to satisfy his or her own requirements for money and what they want to do. However, a startup usually is a person who wants to be a business disruptor. The other big difference is that a small business can be bootstrapped. That is to say, the owner can either use their own money or they can be looking for small amounts of money from friends and family. So that's what we call friend and family capital. On the other hand, a startup usually needs angel capital. These are professional people who are going to be willing to make bets on the company based on the possibility that they're going to have major financial returns within a 3 to 7 year period. To continue on the Silicon Valley definition, a small business is one where there is more or less predictability. You know exactly what the product is going to be, you know what the need for your local market is, and you're going to be following most of the general regular rules of business in order to meet those needs. A startup, on the other hand, is very risky. And as a result of that, it is going to require high initial valuation, even from the angel investors. The small business usually has a limited market. And this is one of the main differences between a small business and a startup. While a small business has a limited market, a startup should be something that has exponential growth in a relatively short period of time. Now, there are some exceptions to what I have said, and I think that this is one of the biggest ones as far as a small business is concerned. A small business could conceivably become a franchise, in which case it is a much larger small business that we're talking about. And lastly, as part of the general discussion that we have between a small business and a startup, whether you're talking about a small business or a startup, when you take a look at the number of people that are employed by these two organizations, it turns out that that is the mainstay of employment in the United States. So for your kind interest, thank you very much. If you go to www.zeicherinstitute.com, you will see our webpage. We have 10 easy to follow recorded lectures complemented by hundreds of slides. If you purchase the online course, you will receive a complimentary copy of the complete transcript as a PDF. So you don't have to start writing anything. Everything about the course will be at your fingertips, thus allowing you to make a copy of the transcript. And in the website, you will find the entire lecture number 1 as a free gift, which is about 30 minutes in duration. So please do that, and I wish you the best of luck as an entrepreneur.